It is seen as a victory for the LGBTQ community. Today, the Biden administration says it is illegal for healthcare providers who receive federal funding to discriminate based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
It's a hard-fought win for trans men and women who face daily struggles just wanting to live their own truth. In tonight's Create Equal, Pick 7's Shirley Chan takes a look at the Trans Lives Matter movement.
Exiting your apartment as a trans person, as an openly trans person every day means that you know you could face the threat of bodily harm.
Her harrowing ordeal took place 15 months ago, but Serena Daniari remembers it like it was yesterday. In January 2020, she was waiting on a subway platform when a man approached, yelled anti-transgender slurs, spat on, and slapped her.
I just wish people would leave me alone. They don't do anything.
Ever since that happened, I've been struggling with panic attacks, especially when I ride on the subway. I walk around wondering when the next moment of violence is going to happen.
Her attackers, this couple, arrested and charged with hate crimes. The man did jail time. The woman is awaiting a plea. The incident spurred Daniari's activism. The journalist now speaks to groups across the country. What happened to her is horrific, but she is one of the lucky ones. She survived. Transphobic attacks are on the rise. Last year was a devastating time for the trans community. According to the Human Rights Campaign, nationwide, 44 trans people were killed in 2020. This year, there have already been 21 trans murders. And because many crimes go unreported or unclassified as a hate crime by law enforcement, the true number could be much higher.
Why don't you leave the lady alone? I don't want any trouble here.
You gotta be kidding me.
Perhaps the case that first shed light on the hate and violence against trans people was the 1993 brutal murder of Brandon Teena, a young trans man. It was a subject of the critically acclaimed film Boys Don't Cry. Nearly 30 years later, that same hate and violence persists.
We face trauma and hurt and headache and harm at every turn. And a lot of transgender women just they are murdered just because of who they are.
T.S. Candy moved to New York City 3 years ago. Her story is like that of many other young trans people. They are drawn to large cities, hoping in diverse metropolitan areas they will find the acceptance they so crave. While to a certain degree they do get that, they are quickly met with other challenges. Job discrimination and housing discrimination, lack of access to social services, just to name a few, on top of the daily shunning.
When it comes down to employment, you know, a lot of individuals know the face or the look or the image that they want working for their particular, you know, organization or corporation. So, and it's not a transgender woman.
Many people will not even allow trans people to have a seat at the table. You know, they're turned away from interviews. When we do go, we're being willfully misgendered. We're being called the incorrect name. You know, we're asked invasive questions.
Statistics show trans women, in particular Black and Latino, are the most at risk. Some of the high-profile cases have been in our area in the last several years, including the murder of Ashley Moore. Her body was found in Newark in April 2020. Her family says she was misgendered by police and her death was not thoroughly investigated because she was trans. 2 years prior to her death, Moore was the victim of a robbery and posted this heartbreaking message on her Instagram page.
I called the police and was denied any service because of me identifying as trans female.
A common refrain, trans people just want to be seen for who they are and be recognized and respected like any other human being.
There's this misconception that trans people are like, I don't know, trying to draw attention to ourselves and just make a scene, but we're just trying to live our lives.
Every Thursday evening, members of the New York City trans community gather. It's a way to come together and express the issues they are all facing and how to go about effecting change.
How is it possible that this is happening still? How are people still being killed for their truth, for their identity. We are in a state of emergency. Transgender people, Black trans women in particular, are often at the receiving end of violence. And that violence will be fatal. That violence means that we're not allowed to work. That violence means that some of us have to engage in survival sex work.
A sad fact is that faced with few resources, many trans people turn to sex work for survival. It's one of the many issues now being spoken about openly. The trans community feels time is of the essence. Currently, there is legislation nationwide that seek to limit the rights of LGBTQ people. Among them, a set of bills proposed in 24 states that would ban transgender students from team sports unless they play for the team of the gender they were assigned at birth. Other legislation seeks to bar trans access to restrooms. And in Alabama, the state Senate has already passed legislation that makes it a felony for health professionals to provide hormone therapy or surgery to trans youth.
What I want to specify about these bills is, sure, they do affect the trans community broadly, but who they're more specifically targeting are transgender children.
Breaking down long-held prejudices and seeking inclusion. Trans people just want to be afforded the right to live openly, freely, and safely.
Trans people are thriving and doing amazing things across industries. I mean, I really feel like we're an unstoppable force.
Transgender women are women, and, why do we have to fight for our basic human rights?
T.S. Candy is leading the efforts to have a permanent mural put up outside Stonewall Inn. That mural will honor the Black Trans Lives Matter movement. In Greenwich Village, I'm Shirley Chan, Pix 11 News.
All right, to watch all of our Created Equal stories, visit our website, pix11.com/createdequal.